back to another edition of Oxford Eats, Oxford County Library's virtual cookbook club.
I'm Leslie.
And I'm Shannon.
And today we're going to showcase the Kitchen Library's Instant Pot collection. We're going to show you 3 things that the Instant Pots are able to do. We're going to show you how to cook a full dinner, chicken and potatoes. We're going to show you how to make a cheesecake. And we're going to show you how to boil eggs.
Apparently this is the easiest way to boil eggs, and they peel amazing when they come out of the Instant Pot, so I'm looking forward to learning how to do it.
Alright, let's get started. Okay, so boiling eggs is super simple with your Instant Pot. I brought personally from home the little egg holders that we have here. We don't have those in our kitchen library, but they're not required to boil eggs. You can just put them right into the pot. So to start, you put a cup of water into your Instant Pot. You take your little egg rack, set it in there. This one I can just put right on top of my hands. It sits right on top. And then you put your lid on. So what we're doing is the 5-5-5 method. So it's 5 minutes high pressure, 5 minutes natural release, and then 5 minutes in an ice bath.
And then they're ready to peel?
They will be ready to peel.
Wonderful.
So I have it set for 5 minutes. I press start. Now we just have to wait for it to pressurize, and then the timer will start to go down once it's pressurized. So anybody at home that has an Instant Pot probably loves theirs, or maybe has never even used it. Some people are afraid to use their Instant Pot. So an Instant Pot is just basically, it's a pressurizer. You cook your food in it, it cooks it faster. I find that it cooks it more thorough. So definitely a good investment if you are one of those families that really needs to get stuff done.
If you'd like to try one out before you make the purchase, the Oxford County Library has 3 Instant Pots and 2 different types of Instant Pots that you can check out with your Oxford County Library card. And as you saw at the beginning of the video, and we will show them throughout the video, there are a lot of Instant Pot books in our catalog, and they can all be found at www.ocl.net.
Okay, so we have cooked our eggs for 5 minutes. We've let it naturally release for 5 minutes. Now we need to vent the pressure cooker in order to get all the steam out so that we can open the lid and put them right into their ice bath.
And the vent release button is on the top of all the lids. The lids are locked on, and then it has this button vent on top.
So you vent it until the pin drops down, and then you know it's safe to open the lid. Okay, so now we're going to take them out, and they go directly into an ice bath. And they need to be submerged in the ice bath for another 5 minutes, and then we can peel them. So now our eggs have sat in a chilled ice bath for 5 minutes, and they are ready to be cracked and eaten. Shall we?
And they peel very nicely. Simple as that.
So if you have an Instant Pot at home and you have not ever used it yet, I would say pull it out, dust it off, give eggs a try first.
Alright, so the eggs are all finished. We are going to move on to making a dessert now in the Instant Pot. A lot of the books and the recipes and how you think of an Instant Pot might be more savory dishes and like dinner type things, but you can also make some really awesome desserts in it. So we are going to make a cherry cheesecake.
So first, we're going to clean up, and then we're going to get ready to make our crust because it has to set in the freezer while we're making the rest of the cheesecake. Okay, so we're going to make the crust for our cheesecake. Now, this cheesecake recipe we actually found online. It's from Amy and Jackie's website, and it's called the No. 17 cheesecake recipe. And I found out of all the cheesecake recipes that I've tried, that this one is definitely the #1 cheesecake recipe. So to make the crust, what they recommend is you take 10 graham crackers and you crush them yourself. So throw them in a big Ziploc bag, take a rolling pin, take out some frustration, and crush your own graham crackers. After you have your graham crackers crushed, you're going to take anywhere from 2 teaspoons to 1.5 tablespoons of brown sugar, however much sweetness you want to your crust. You're going to put that in there along with a pinch of sea salt, which we have already done. And you're going to mix that up.
So now the graham crumbs and the brown sugar are mixed. Now you need to add about 3.5 tablespoons of melted butter into the mixture and start mixing it up.
So this basically just thickens everything so that you can form a proper crust into the bottom of your springform pan. So Shannon has it all mixed up. Now we take our pre-parchment papered springform pan. With the 8-quart Instant Pots, the only pan that will fit in there is a 7-inch springform pan. So just keep that in mind if you're going to make cheesecake. We're just going to pour that in there. You need to line the bottom and the sides of your pan. And then you take something with a flat bottom, a glass, a measuring cup, anything will work, and you're just going to squish that down. Make sure you get it up along the edges as well. And don't push down too far. You don't want to be able to see the parchment paper through the bottom.
So now the crust is ready and it's all pressed along the sides and the bottoms. So now we need to pop it into the freezer while we make the rest of the insides of the cheesecake.
So now that we have our crust chilling, we're going to make the inside of our cheesecake. So the first steps are to mix our dry ingredients. So we need 2/3 cup of sugar and 2 tablespoons of cornstarch.
Okay, and then we mix them.
So we will set that aside, and now we're going to mix our wet ingredients. So we need 454 grams of cream cheese. So about 2.5 bricks. Just a note for this recipe, everything that you use that's the wet ingredient, like your cream cheese, your sour cream, your eggs, needs to be at room temperature. So we have had our stuff sitting out for some time now, just to bring it down to room temperature. Otherwise, the cake mix won't set properly. So now we need to beat the cream cheese on low for 10 seconds. So once you've done that, you need to add half of your sugar and cornstarch mixture. And you're gonna blend that in till it's just incorporated. So now we're going to add the other half. And same thing. Okay, so now we need to scrape down the sides before we add our next ingredient. So our next ingredient is sour cream. We need 1/2 cup. And then we also need 2 teaspoons of vanilla. So we're gonna add that in and then again, beat it till it's just mixed in.
right, it's starting to look more like cheesecake.
So now we're going to add our eggs, which again, like I said, have been left out, so they are sitting at room temperature. And you add your eggs in one at a time. So you crack one, put it in, and then you're going to blend it for about 15 to 20 seconds till, again, it's just incorporated. And then add your next egg after you scrape down the sides. So we will get that done now. So once you blended it, while scraping down your sides in between, you're going to take your spatula and you're going to fold it a few times just to make sure that everything is off of the bottom and everything is fully incorporated. There may be some cream cheese stuck to the bottom. And there you have it. So now we need our base. So our base is set. Our cream cheese mixture is done. Now we're going to put the two together and we're going to put them in the Instant Pot. So one last step actually before you put it in the Instant Pot, you need to bang it to bring all the air bubbles up and try to get rid of as many air bubbles as possible so that you don't end up with like a souffle type cake. If you find you have a lot of big air bubbles on the top, just take a toothpick and you can just kind of pop them and mix them in. So we're going to take our trivet. Our trivet has handles on it. If yours does not, what they recommend doing is making almost like a hammock out of tin foil. So you'll take a big piece of tin foil, put it onto the bottom, bring it up to the sides and wrap it, but make sure your handles are folded backwards so that the moisture doesn't drip onto your cake. We'll take it over. We need to make sure we put 1 cup of water into the bottom of our Instant Pot before we put our cake in.
So 1 cup of water goes right into the Instant Pot.
And then the cheesecake goes into the Instant Pot.
Lid goes on. Lock the lid.
Make sure that your vent is set for sealed and not bent. And then you're going to do your pressure cook. And you're going to set your time to 26 minutes.
This recipe has a lot of very precise steps, but I'm confident it's going to turn out and be delicious.
So once that, you don't have to press start or anything. You just set your time, let it go. It's going to do it all on its own.
So while the cheesecake is in the Instant Pot and doing its thing, we are going to clean up, reset, and make our dinner. All right, for dinner, we are making chicken and potatoes all together in the same pot.
So this may be one of the easiest chicken and potatoes Instant Pot recipes you'll find. We're going to start by putting our chicken right into this bowl here. We're going to throw our potatoes in the same bowl. Then we're going to take 3 tablespoons of olive oil and drizzle over top. So then we're going to put our seasonings on top, which includes basil, oregano, thyme, garlic powder, and they call for ranch seasoning. We didn't have any of that, so we have a herb and garlic seasoning. And then we just need to mix it all together. I think Shannon's going to go in there and get her hands dirty. So don't forget, for extra seasoning, always add your salt and pepper.
All right, so the and potatoes are tossed and coated in the oil and spice mixture, and we are ready to start using the Instant Pot.
So we need 1 cup of chicken broth. And then the chicken goes into the pot first. And then your potatoes go in on top. Now we need to put the lid on. We're gonna set it for 15 minutes and wait for it to cook. Again, make sure that your valve is set for sealing. So pressure cook. 15. And we wait. All right, so chicken and potatoes is going in here. The cheesecake just beeped saying that it was done cooking. Now we have to leave it alone and let it naturally release its pressure for the next probably 7 to 10 minutes. It shouldn't take very long until that pin drops, and then we can open the lid and have a look.
All right, so the cheesecake in this Instant Pot over here, it did its natural release for 7 to 10 minutes roughly until the pin fell. So we took it out, and now it's back in the fridge to chill before we add in the cherry topping.
Well, it sounds like our chicken is ready, so as soon as it's done beeping, we're going to flick the valve and have it quick pressure released. Always stand back, the steam is very, very hot. So our pin just dropped, now we can take the lid off and get our chicken and potatoes out for dinner.
They look and smell so good. I'm so excited.
Right. Dinner is served.
All right, well there you have it. 3 very different recipes, all using the Instant Pot.
So our cheesecake is done, we have cherries on top, and I can't wait to dive in.
Before our dessert, we should eat our dinner. And our chicken and potatoes came out lovely, ready to eat from the Instant Pot.
We also picked some beans off of our tower garden that we have out in the library and sauteed them in some butter in the Instant Pot. So another function of the Instant Pot that is awesome to be able to saute.
You can find all of the books you see here and so many more in our catalog at www.ocl.net.
You can also place holds on our Instant Pots or any other kitchen items on our kitchen library, which you will also find on our website. Well, Shannon, I'm getting pretty hungry.
Me too. So thank you everyone for joining us today for another installment of Oxford Eats. Enjoy your eats!